It was the luckiest night of Tim Fitzpeterson's life. He thought this the moment he opened his eyes and saw the girl, in bed beside him, still sleeping. He did not move for fear of waking her, but he looked at her, almost furtively in the cold light of the London dawn. She slept flat on her back, with the absolute relaxation of small children. Tim was reminded of his own Adrienne when she was little. He put the unwelcome thought out of his mind. The girl beside him had red hair, fitting her small head like a cap, showing her tiny ears. All her features were small: nose, chin, cheekbones, dainty teeth. Once, in the night, he had covered her face with his broad, clumsy hands, pressing his fingers gently into the hollows of her eyes and her cheeks, opening her soft lips with his thumbs, as if his skin could feel her beauty, like the heat from a fire. Her left arm lay limply outside the coverlet, which was pushed down to reveal narrow, delicate shoulders and one shallow breast, its nipples soft in slumber. They lay apart, not quite touching, although he could feel the warmth of her thigh close to his. He looked away from her, up at the ceiling, and for a moment he let the sheer joy of remembered fornication wash over him like a physical thrill. Then he got up. He stood beside the bed and looked back at her. She was undisturbed. The candid morning light made her no less lovely, despite tousled hair and the untidy remains of what had been elaborate makeup. Daybreak was less kind to Tim Fitzpeterson, he knew. That was why he tried not to wake her. He wanted to look in a mirror before she saw him. He went naked, padding across the dull green living room carpet to the bathroom. In the space of a few moments he saw the place as if for the first time, and found it hopelessly unexciting. The carpet was matched by an even duller green sofa with fading flowered cushions. There was a plain wooden desk, of the kind to be found in a million offices, an elderly black-and-white television set, a filing cabinet, and a bookshelf of legal and economic textbooks, plus several volumes of Hansard. He had once thought it so dashing to have a London pied-à-terre. The bathroom had a full-length mirror, bought not by Tim but by his wife, in the days before she had totally retired from town life. He looked in it while he waited for the bath to fill, wondering what there was about this middle-aged body that could drive a beautiful girl of, 25, into a frenzy of lust. He was healthy but not fit, not in the sense with which that word is used to describe men who do exercises and visit gymnasia. He was short, and his naturally broad frame was thickened by a little superfluous fat, particularly on the chest, waist, and buttocks. His physique was okay, for a man of 41, but it was nothing to excite even the most physical of women. The mirror became obscured by steam, and Tim got into the bath. He rested his head and closed his eyes. It occurred to him that he had had less than 2 hours of sleep, yet he felt quite fresh. His upbringing would have him believe that pain and discomfort, if not actual illness, were the consequences of late nights, dancing, adultery, and strong drink. All those sins together ought to bring down the wrath of God. No. The wages of sin were sheer delight. He began to soap himself languidly. It had started at one of those appalling dinners: grapefruit cocktail, overdone steak, and bomb, no surprise, for 300 members of a useless organization. Tim's speech had been just another exposition of the government's current strategy, emotionally weighted to appeal to the particular sympathies of the audience. Afterwards, he had agreed to go somewhere else for a drink with one of his colleagues, a brilliant young economist, and 2 faintly interesting people from the audience. The venue turned out to be a nightclub which would normally have been beyond Tim's means, but someone else had paid the entrance. Once inside, he began to enjoy himself, so much so that he bought a bottle of champagne with his credit card. More people had joined their group: a film company executive Tim had vaguely heard of, a playwright he hadn't, a left-wing economist who shook hands with a wry smile and avoided shop talk, and the girls. The champagne and the floor show inflamed him slightly. In the old days, he would at this point have taken Julia home and made love to her roughly. She liked that, just occasionally. But now she no longer came to town. and he no longer went to nightclubs. Not normally.